Hey, how's it going? My name's Ed Lee, and I'm coming from Heights of Gaming, and today I'm going to be talking about the four different entities that exist within the supply chain of, you know, collectible card games. So first off, we're going to start with the manufacturer. Now the manufacturers that, the major players are Konami for Yu-Gi-Oh! The trading card game, I guess it's called, and also for Magic the Gathering, it's Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro, probably the premier toy corporation in the United States, maybe even worldwide, right? So let's get to the business. So the thing is that with the manufacturers can, what they're basically responsible for is providing design of the product. Sometimes they provide marketing materials, things like that, for the, you know, distributor, retailer, and for the consumers to, use however they see fit. And they're also responsible for certain control of the industry. So let's talk about how they can control the industry. The manufacturer has certain rules for both card games, these major card games, and I don't really mess with the other card games. I mess with Carpet Vanguard a little bit, but I really don't like messing with collectible card games that are not proven because they can go under. They are going under all the time, and you are really stuck with an investment that you can't get rid of. So I stuck with the tried and true, proven earners. So let's talk about some things that they do. Manufacturers do to control the industry. One thing that they do is that they will force, right? Through their agreements, they only sell to brick and mortar stores, and you're not allowed to just sell online. This is to maintain profit margins for the product because the idea is that when people play in the store, that they're building a community of people that want to play cards with each other, and they make policies that support that. Another rule that they have in place is that they have international trade agreements. So, as you know, um, any collectible is actually considered an investment vehicle, and the thing is that they have a certain liquidity, right? So cash is the ultimate liquid asset. Then you have real estate, stocks, things like that. These are all investment vehicles. You look at these cards, they have a monetary value. You look it up online, eBay, whatever, and they have a card valuation, like a price valuation. But that valuation is not true everywhere. Like I could take my quarter, right, my US quarter, and go to some country in Africa that never seen a quarter before, and I could try to use it, and they might be like, I'm not taking that. And that makes a lot of sense, so that's what I mean by liquidity. Liquidity is your ability to turn one asset into another asset. So the thing is that the dollar, the US dollar, isn't always worth the same. Sometimes it goes up in value, sometimes it goes down in value. So the thing is that if I'm, for example, a distributor in France, right, then, oh my goodness, I could buy a whole bunch of cards, but then the US distributors, the dollar is low, and all of a sudden they're underselling me, and I'm stuck with a whole bunch of product that I can't sell. So the manufacturer protects the distributors and the retailers in those countries by, not allowing, international sales. That's another thing that they can do. So they're also responsible for, designing products and, attaching SKUs to them and, the packaging of them and things like that. And those things are important because, how they sit on a retail space and how they're marketed and, the timing in which they are released can all affect sales. And that's really you know, the end goal, to sell products. A lot of people don't get that, but I'll address that in another video. But the number one goal for the whole entire industry is to sell products. Okay, so the second player in the game is going to be the distributor. Now the thing is that distributors are in a really tough place, and I don't envy them at all. For when I first started, I was like, how can I move up to distributor? I want to have that lower price and things like that, and I don't want to have to, I want to cut out the middleman as much as possible. The thing is that the distributor are locked into these, really into these agreements with the manufacturer. They have to buy a certain minimum number of products in order to be determined distributor. So let's suppose that, the manufacturer comes out with a product That sucks. And this happens in collectible card games. Either all the cards were released before, or there's just not anything really good in the box or in the package, whatever. That people that are really going to drive sales. There's going to be some duds, and they're stuck buying like case pallets and pallets of crap, and that sucks. Also, their margin is really bad. As a distributor, it's tough. It's tough. And here's another thing, right? Besides getting demands from the manufacturers, there's also demands made from the retailer side. Smaller stores, and I'll admit, I was a sole proprietorship. I was a smaller business. I was not a corporate entity like Walmart. And all of us small guys, tournament stores, things like that, we don't really have the negotiating power to make these kinds of deals. But one thing that's crazy for Walmart is, and I heard this from Alex at King's Games. He's really been a fantastic, source of information. And I respect his business prowess. A lot of people blah blah blah. He doesn't play the game anymore. You want to play games, go ahead. You want to make money selling cards, that's a totally different game. That's the game I'm in. So I didn't really care. But business wise, I have utmost respect for that man. But let's move on. So the thing is that Walmart, they have such retail power that they could say to the manufacturer, we don't even want to deal with you. We're going to deal with the distributor. And the distributor will just rent you a space inside of our store. And what's going to happen is that, if anybody steals the product, then we're not going to take the loss. What? That's ridiculous. But they just have that much retail power. They say, you determine the price point, you make the markup, you mark it up to whatever is profitable for yourself. And, if you don't like it, then, too bad. We don't need you. Just, we won't carry your product. We don't need you. And that's how it works. It's crazy. So, usually the manufacturer is not crazy about overly powerful retail outlets popping up, which I was definitely on the move in that direction. And I'll get more on to that later. But that's one thing about being a distributor. So being a distributor is tough. And honestly, I feel like as time goes on, they may not be, around. There's a lot of ways to streamline out distributors. Oh well, I love those guys. Another thing that's crazy is that I didn't realize it at first, but distributors can actually get you product cheaper than the manufacturer. What? Yeah, you think there's another middleman. How are they getting it to us cheaper? It doesn't even make sense. Ed, shut up. No, it's actually true, because the thing is that the manufacturer doesn't really have the infrastructure, right, to get the products out to you. They don't have the warehouses set up around the country. They don't have the inventory systems set up and things like that to really handle, processing those orders in that mechanism. So, distributors are just more efficient. They get the cards from a place called Cardamundi, which has a factory in Texas, and they just ship them out. They have tractor trailer trucks that are ready to go and ship them all over the country. And, they were always able to beat out the manufacturer direct prices because, it was just, it was never really passed into the manufacturer's hands. It was just, someone's sales rep at at Konami or Wizards of the Coast was just saying, boop, 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 we're going to send you this product, you send us the money, and bam, there you go. So that's something very interesting. Also, distributors are tied to, a lot of distributors have gotten whacked for not following the manufacturer's rules, which, sometimes change at the drop of a hat. Oh well, that's life. Life isn't always fair, but it really sucks to have you know um, you know hundreds of thousands of dollars tied up in product, and then you get cut, and it's really painful. And I don't envy distributors at all. Retailers sit between the the distributor and the end user, which would be the consumer. And right now, I think the retailers in collectible card games really need to get their stuff together. They're not very organized. You look at GameStop, you look at GNC, they are really kind of like a chain that really is able to have strong, leverage as in terms of negotiations with the distributor and the manufacturers. You look at Okay, so like talking about GNC, I used to, when I first opened my shop, I was also thinking about selling supplements like GNC. But the thing is that GNC has such strong buying power that they are actually selling their products for sometimes even cheaper than I would get a wholesale price, which is ridiculous. But that's just how much control they have of that industry. There, in collectible card games, there is no real chain like that that really can make those kinds of strong power moves. And to tell you the truth, the distributors and really more the manufacturers really fight against that kind of scenario from developing because of that. Like I told you before, Walmart is able to put pressure on distributors and manufacturers by making demands, and they don't want us retailers ganging up together making demands, but it's in the retailer's interest to do so. So if you have a card game store, at first it's I would say it's natural to think competitively with the other stores, but I think that's a mistake. You really need to start thinking of them as your partners, and because you have some shared interests. I'm not saying that you're going to share interests with every single thing. Of course, you're competing for the customers, but in some aspects, you do have a shared interest, and you should be working together. Okay, then you have your end consumer. Your end consumer is actually the one who brings the money to the table. It is their purchases that make the whole industry run. So I would say that they have actually the most political power in some ways, and you can't really argue with the power of the dollar. They control the dollars, so that's what it is. So those are the four different groups within the collectible card game industry, and I hope that has increased your understanding of you know those relationships. Feel free to post your comments and subscribe and all this other kind of business. Thank you. Have a good one.